Today in this video we will take a close look at the Tesla of China, XPeng. How do you say it again? XPeng, the Tesla of China. I will give you our outlook, what we see in the charts regarding the future development of that company. We will take a look into their model portfolio and we will talk a little bit about the history of how that company XPeng came about. So stay tuned, we're jumping right in. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe and right now today we are already at part 4 out of our 6-part series regarding Chinese EV manufacturers. And so today we talk about the self-proclaimed Tesla of China, and there really is some validity to that claim, which we will discover in just a second. And dependent on where exactly it is that you're living, you might maybe not even have seen any XPeng vehicle anywhere on the road, because as of today they're only available in a rather limited number of countries. So for example, originally I come from Germany, right now we're based in Switzerland, and neither in Germany nor in Switzerland are XPeng cars even available. Within Europe, they are so far available in the northern countries. Norway, that's where they also started their entry into the European market. They're available in Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, and should also be available in Poland by this point in time. And so when you hear things like this, you probably have already guessed for yourself that the company XPeng is a rather young one. So they were only founded in 2014, and the most important person in that whole endeavor of XPeng, he's not the sole founder but a co-founder. His name is XPeng. So basically the company has its last name as the company name. Interesting guy, by now he's only 47 years old. Originally he became rather wealthy because he co-founded again UCWeb, a Chinese software company back in the early 2000s, and after they managed to grow this small company of software and mobile web browsers into a rather sizable enterprise, they were then in 2014 purchased by Alibaba for the by then biggest sum anybody has ever paid for a Chinese software company, over $4 billion. And back then, 2014 was also the time when Tesla decided that they would release all of their patents into the public domain, encouraging general EV development worldwide and inviting others to adopt the Tesla standards that Tesla is already using in their own vehicles. And for XPeng, just recently having become a billionaire, that sounded like a gift from God. And he decided, you know what? I can use all the Tesla patents, why not start building cars like Tesla here in China? And that's what exactly he did. And so in 2014, while at the time he was still a rather high-level executive member at Alibaba after the purchase of UCWeb by Alibaba, he founded then this company, and in 2017 he full-on switched over to becoming CEO of XPeng. And under his leadership, the company really started deploying this full Tesla approach, meaning their product portfolio as of now is rather small. They do all of their full self-driving software development in-house. They have a very heavy focus on tech and software rather than on car manufacturing and build quality. And they also currently are developing their very own driving computer chips called the Turing chip. They also started building their very own charging network similar to Tesla, and also they are currently working on humanoid robots. So the very same playbook that Tesla has been following over the last couple of years. And so that's why that self-proclaimed name of the Tesla of China really holds quite a bit of validity. Also mentionable, as of 2023, VW, the big, huge German-based car brand, started a cooperation together with XPeng and are currently together developing cars for the Chinese market. So by now, XPeng really managed to pull in quite a heavy weight to further advance their own business within China. So on a pure macro basis, a hugely inspiring and very promising story. And so before I will give you our analytically based outlook for XPeng, let's maybe together take a quick look at their model portfolio. And so first of all, I do love their website. I think it's brilliant, very beautiful, pretty pleasing to look at. And as just mentioned, they have a rather small product portfolio. So basically, as of now, They have 4 cars, which I love. I think it's amazing if a young company does not start building 10, 12, 15 different cars, but sticks to a rather small amount of cars and tries to improve them. I really think that's the point where a company does even stand the chance of developing an edge in the market. So number 1, the X9, which is rather unique looking, I think. Taste, of course, is subjective, and I don't think it looks that good, but it's a minivan, so I don't think looks is the primary concern with minivans. They have this G9, which, let's be honest, is basically a Chinese electric Land Rover, at least from the profile, which I don't mind. I think it looks great. Very good looking car. G6 is, again, let's be honest, basically a Chinese Model Y with a just tiny hex spoiler there to differentiate it from the original, but overall that to me is a current Model Y. And then they have their P9, which I don't like too much. It's like a sedan, obviously, but I don't think it's that good looking. So from a technical side of things, what they brag about is, first of all, their range, which is okay. I have seen better, but I also have seen way worse. And their charging time, 12 minutes from 10 to 80%, which is super impressive. But also in recent times, there has been quite a few, mostly Chinese manufacturers that have matched that time, and it usually always depends on the charging infrastructure that you do have available, right? So those times can only be achieved at the specific chargers, usually by only one specific company. So the real life use case of you ever seeing those times, I'm skeptical. But yeah, as mentioned before, overall great looking car, and we will not take the time. By the way, those steering wheels, I do hate them. I think they're the ugliest thing around. But you know what? I have yet not told you, because it's also not on their website, I have yet not told you about the most mad, brilliant, awe-inspiring product that XPeng has up their sleeves. It's the XPeng Land Carrier. And I don't know if you have seen it, but you need to see it. That thing is marvelous. Behold, behold, that thing. So what on earth is this thing? They honestly are working on developing a minivan with a built-in drone for 2 people. It seats 2 people, and it comes with its very own minivan carrying that thing around, a 6-wheeler even. And the wildest thing about it is we are not talking about a pure concept. They plan on building that thing starting next year already. And at this point, I really honestly would love your opinion. Please, please, please tell me in the comments. Am I not seeing something, or how do you feel about it? Because when I see a product like this, I cannot imagine any market for such a product. I mean, of course, some eccentric millionaires, but I don't see any real life use case for such a product. But I can be mistaken here, right? So as history has shown multiple times, genius and madness mostly are quite closely related. So I don't know. I can be wrong on this one, and I'd totally be fine with that. But now finally, let's get to the meat of it. What do we see regarding XPeng? Where do we see the company to proceed from here onward? Because if we take a look at the past from their IPO back in 2020, it has been a rather rough ride. So pretty shortly after their initial IPO, the company has seen a 300% run to its still up-to-date holding all-time high in November of 2020 at back then $74.50 at the New York Stock Exchange. And ever since, we have been in a prolonged correction, leading us all the way down in a WXYXZ corrective mode. So a rather complex correction here in the Elliott Wave realm, taking us to the low which was formed in April of 2024 with the overreaching Wave 2. And as of now, currently, we are in the early beginning stages of a already started Wave 3. This is our very clear primary scenario. Huge, huge, huge potential in the company XPeng, at least on a chart basis. We do have an alternative scenario likewise on the chart with a still even lower low for the final wave 2 bottom to be formed, but we only have it at a 33% probability. And with all that I've told you before, I am quite confident that we will see this primary scenario coming to fruition, and that would mean from current levels at roughly $18, that would be up until the only lower boundary of our target zone, at least 600% potential. And if we look more towards the optimum targets here for our target zone, we'd be talking 800 to almost 900% of potential in the stock of XPeng. And to be quite honest, that wouldn't surprise me. That really wouldn't surprise me. Of course, there's a lot of problems that the whole of the Chinese EV market is facing at the moment. But of course, like back in the dot-com crisis, there will be companies emerging out of this chaos as huge victors, and there will be companies that will be going bust. And I am confident that XPeng is one of those companies that will prevail and will come out as a huge success. That is what I believe. I believe XPeng is one of the Amazons coming out of the dot-com crisis. And if you want to learn about such chances like this one here, not only in randomly up-popping YouTube videos, but if you want to get updated on companies like XPeng on a daily basis, there's a link down there in the description taking you to our website where we analyze 200 markets on a daily basis, giving out push notifications, entries to our model portfolios. So if you are an investor in companies like this one or in the stock market, in Bitcoin, commodities, you name it, hugely interesting offer that we have for you down there in the link in the description. But then of course, in the short term, that was our long-term outlook here for XPeng. In the short term, however, what do we see here? So starting from this wave 2 low in March, did I say March? May, April of 2024, you can see this very same low here with the wave 2 bottom in April of 2024. And ever since, we have so far seen a wave 1 top, so the wave 1 undercount to this overreaching wave 3 here, right? So starting from this wave 2 low up to this wave 3 top, this wave move here would be comprised out of a 1 upwards move, which we have seen here, 1 upwards move, 2 corrective move, 3 upwards move again, 4 corrective move, and then a final move 5 taking us into these lows here, completing this overreaching wave 3 that you see here on the charts. And out of this 5 wave structure that I just explained, we have so far already seen a wave 1 top taking us all the way from $6.60-ish up to $27 roughly, completing a first 300% run. And ever since, we have seen a correction of roughly 36%. And our clear primary scenario is that for now, for this most imminent correction, the low is pretty close of being in or is already in. Here is in this wave B low. And that from here onward, we will see another, maybe even potentially higher high, but we will see a new high here in the stock, leading to an overreaching wave B here. So following this wave A corrective mode here, a B counter-corrective mode, and after that a wave C correction wave to follow, to then complete this overreaching wave 2 low here, to follow this overreaching wave 1 top over there. And with the most recent price action, we also brought here an alternative scenario at 34% probability for this wave C to already being in the making right now, which would also take us to this very same target zone. So currently we do have 2 scenarios which are, as a matter of fact, all leading us to the very same target, right? This blue target zone here with an optimum target of roughly $11 here at the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement. This is our very clear target zone. So either we will reach this target zone in the most imminent move here with our secondary scenario, which we clearly do not believe at the moment, or we will first see another higher high here in a counter-corrective B move, and only then in a final wave C sell-off we will then see this very same target zone here, and from here onward huge potential to the upside, because as soon as we have this wave 2 low in, the path is clear for these new highs that I just showed you here in the overreaching time frame here. And so if you are cautiously bullish on a company like XPeng, you can feel very free to wait for this target zone here to really come into fruition, either right now in the most imminent move or here in this final sell-off, or if you are super bullish on XPeng. Right now is not the worst moment to get into the market, right? After a 36% sell-off in recent times, strong fundamental data, and a potential B wave already having found its pivot point, that's not a bad time to get into the market. I might even do it myself. But as always, this is no financial advice. This is only what I might be doing. And whatever you do with your money is completely up to you. So then, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.